Welcome to the latest edition of New Haven Vlog News Summary, direct from our assignment desk, otherwise known as my compost heap. Let's see what stories we're working on at this hour. Oh, excuse me, I need to make a very personal secret call. Hello, is this the New Haven Detective Division? Look, I really need some money, guys. I thought I could tell you about a friend of mine who's dealing crack, and then you can give me some money. I'll buy some crack and I'll give you the leftover. I know we used to do this all the time, and then you said we couldn't do it for the last month because you caught some top cop stealing the money from the fund. You need to fix it. Great news, PERF. What's PERF? Okay, I'll be right over there. Thanks. So good news. PERF stands for Police Executive Research Forum, PERF. They're the gold standard. When you got a scandal, you got to fix something, you call PERF, and they give you all the best practices for how to fix police departments. So the New Haven Police Department called in PERF. They had a scandal. The police chief stole money out of the confidential informant fund used to pay people who were going to buy drugs from people and then rat them out. So they had to put it on hold till they could fix it. Now, the Ellicker administration and the person they put in charge said that it was only this police chief who failed, that all we got to do is have a better policy, a rewritten policy for confidential informant funds, and then everything's fixed. So they called in PERF and they just had new rules, and now they are back in business. Well, we called in PERF in 2008 when we had a similar scandal, and they wrote a policy. We called in PERF in 2016 to rewrite the policy. We had policies in place that even I could figure out, and this still happened. But apparently, every time there's a problem, we just call PERF, they'll rewrite a policy, and we don't have to look at whether there are systemic problems or if anybody else failed in government, because they never fail. Well, is PERF still in town? We can use them today with shoveling, a shoveling policy. A big snow is about to begin again, and we're still digging out from the last snow weeks ago because the Ellicker administration failed miserably in clearing our streets. But they never said that. They never said we screwed up and we'll do better. So I guess if we just call PERF and they'll have a policy for clearing snow, maybe our streets will be clearer and safer this time around. Well, here's some caution tape I thought I would give to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, because they apparently forgot to use it. They must not have had any when they burst into Fairhaven Street recently. They were looking for a guy from Ecuador who was here illegally, and he had a separate state court case in which he allegedly fell for a scam where he thought he was going to be able to bring money to a hotel room and have sex with a minor. It really was a sting. There was no minor. He's now in court about that. He has not been convicted. But according to ICE, if you're accused of a crime, not convicted, no due process, they come and grab you and take you out of the country. So this guy was headed to court from his home in Fairhaven. ICE rolled in. He didn't open his window, so they smashed the window. There was glass all over the street, and they pulled him away. So I guess if someone alleges you did something that wasn't even sex with a minor, but you thought was sex with a minor, they're going to pull you out with due process and bring you out of the country. So here's my cautionary question. Apparently in the Epstein files, there are unproven allegations that President Trump did that. Did ICE roll in and smash his window? No, they just redacted his name and then didn't release it, according to Representative Ted Lieu, who's in Congress, but he's just a congressman, so that doesn't count as much. We'll talk about a life well lived. Apostle Martha Green has died at the age of 102. She is a retired laundry worker from Yale New Haven Hospital and the VA hospital, who then spent decades founding and then running a church, St. Mary's UFWB. She continued preaching and doing Bible study into her second century of life. She believed in the Lord and the Lord was with her. And she did a lot for our community. So in her honor, I would like to say a prayer that we often say at funerals and when people die, because I think it represents what Pastor Martha Green believed deeply and is going to carry her to what she believes is the next realm. It's the 23rd Psalm, Mizmor LeDavid, a Psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. You make me lie down in grassy meadows. You lead me to still waters. You renew my soul. You guide me on pathways of justice for the sake of your name. Though I walk through a valley of deepest darkness, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread out before me a table in full view of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and steadfast love pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai for many long years, and I think Pastor Martha Green will continue to. And in her spirit, we will continue living our lives to the fullest with our community in the belief of a higher purpose. Until next time, this is the New Haven Independent Vlog News Summary. And remember, let's always pick up our trash and recycle it while we still can.